Welcome back to the Winchester Report. Before we start on that though, the ratings were down for the CW all around because they were getting preempted by college basketball, I think, or something like that.
Yes.
It didn't happen to me in my neck of the woods, thank goodness, but it did happen all over the place. Well, the ratings were down nonetheless, but not by much. It was a 0.9. We were usually in the 1.0 index, but our viewers are down. We had a 1,930,000 viewers. But like I said, the CW was down all week, so nothing to worry about. Unless you're the Tomorrow People. So we got some returning guests in the Ghostfacers, as I said. They were mentioning the fat guy from the Ghostfacers, who is Austin Basis, who plays on Beauty and the Beast, and his sister Maggie, and they have both left.
They both left to do real things with their lives.
I know. Believe me. The bad guys were Roger and Deputy Tom Norwood. We're in the bunker. We get some references to Devil's Traps, Crossroads Demons, EMF, Ghosts, of course, Thinman, aka Slender Man. Why they didn't just use that, I have no idea. Atopa and the Veil. Is Slenderman trademarked or something?
I'm sure it is. Otherwise, they would have actually used Slenderman.
No, it's really funny. I find this really funny because I have read, because you're on Tumblr, you see the post of supernatural episodes that need to happen.
Yep.
Slenderman's always right up there. So this was the episode that just tickled me to death about that. It really did. It was funny, but it was sad in so many places.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is where you and I differ, because I think this might be the first episode where we actually, disagree on things.
Good.
I agree, right? Because I'm a fan of the Ghostfacers. As much as I think that Supernatural should be scary and not funny, I thought that they've always contributed hilarity. I loved the episode. Oh God, what was it? I can't even remember. I think it was Ghostfacers.
313, where they pretend they're basically it's their take on haunted houses and stuff like that.
Yes, I love that. That's one of my favorite episodes. It was creepy. It was funny. Sam and Dean swore, which even though they it's stupid because they should swear and they don't because it's a CW show. It was still I liked it. I'm glad that they found the loophole to actually see how much Sam and Dean would swear if they were allowed to. So I've always liked them, and I was glad to see them.
I actually like the web series better than I like them. And the only episode I've ever liked them in is It's a Terrible Life. And they're there for 10 seconds.
Yep.
That's the only time I really like them, and I like the web series, but it's because I don't really care for I don't know, it's just something of how the two main Ghostfacers play off each other. It just grates my nerves. Because they're like, oh, we get to have sex with girls. Really, bro? Really? Ugh. It's just the dialogue that is written for them just gets under my skin. It's like they're almost poking fun at the fandom and the online fandom specifically, and I don't like that because I just don't. It's why I don't like Becky.
Oh God,
Yeah, it's just a funhouse mirror poking fun at things you really shouldn't poke the beast on that from me. But yeah, I'm glad somebody likes the Ghostfacers. I do love their theme song, which, fun fact, is actually written by Christopher Leonard and Ben Edlund himself. So yeah.
Yep. So good.
I do love the theme song. I actually do have it as a ringtone.
Do you really? Well, there you go.
So there's that.
Part of you loves them.
I like it in theory of, that there's actually just, because I always think about the fans, if the fans actually try, if ghosts were real, we would all be Ed and Harry at this point.
We would be. It's so true. That's exactly how we'd be. And that's what I appreciate. It's that would actually be me if I tried. I'd actually be scared shitless, but I just pretend I wasn't. Yep.
Yep, because I have been to a few haunted places. I used to live in Louisville, and there's this it was a tuberculosis hospital, but before that, it was a mental asylum, and you have to go through this really big park through these tunnels, and it's creepy as hell. And I literally, I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna edit this out. I peed my pants. I heard something, and I saw something, and I was like, oh God.
Hey man, that's a legitimate. That's legitimate because I would do the same thing. I don't put myself in that position ever because I am a scaredy cat. I would never go to a haunted place. I hate haunted houses. I hate like carnivals. I hate all that kind of stuff. I would never do it. So props to you for actually doing that.
And I was trying to impress a boy. I'm not even gonna lie. I felt like Kate in Asylum.
Yeah. No, see, I would not have even gone that far. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I don't care what you say. I refuse. I don't care if you think I'm like not as hot because I don't like that. I don't want to be scared. Like,
so I will give the Ghostfacers that.
There are other parts of my personality that are more important.
Oh God! So I don't know how I would classify this. I definitely think that it was filler, but at the same time, the writer had a very specific and heavy-handed thing to say.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was, it was supposed to be funny, and then it was, how they did it. It was how they did it with Garth's episode. It was like supposed to be funny, and then it was just like, ha, psych.
It was supposed to be funny?
I mean, with the Ghostfacers, I feel like things are more lighthearted when they're around.
Yes, it was supposed to be.
So it was right, but they tricked us.
Yeah, they totally tricked us. Like, I actually, after all the angst, I was looking forward to some funny, but I didn't find this episode funny, like, haha. I found it funny, like, do you think the audience is stupid?
I was torn because of it was so heavy with the parallels that I was like, you think we don't understand what's going on right now? But like I said, I think the Ghostfacers are hilarious, so I was laughing. Like, oh my God, I have so many favorite lines from this episode. Like,
okay, so, before we get really started, like, I want to ask you a question. Do you think that one of the Ghostfacers has a unrequited kind of love situation happening, and that he was dangling the whole #Thinman thing in front of him to get him to stay around so he wouldn't be with his girlfriend? Or, like, did he just legit didn't want to be alone? Like, the Dean thing.
It's a complicated question because I think that we're talking about Ed. Ed, he's always been the one that's, like, he says sex and then with girls. Like, he has to specify, like, who he is, and I think he's really uncomfortable in himself, so I think it's part and parcel. Like, I'm not really sure that I think he might be in love with Harry, but I don't think that he knows it.
I think he does, because it goes back to that whole line of, gay love can pierce the veil of death, or whatever line.
Oh, God, that's one of my favorite lines of the show. Oh, my God. I guess I never really thought about it that way, but that's also because things just go over my head. I didn't even know incest was a thing until my cousin told me about it. Like, that kind of stuff just goes right over my head. I'm like, wait, what? People think that Sam and Dean should be together, like, sex?
I would like to have the sex with you.
Exactly. Like, that kind of stuff just goes right over my head. So, I don't know. I think part of it is maybe that he thinks that, but another part is he just doesn't want to be alone. I mean, he and Harry have been together for ages, right? We met them in season 1, and they've been doing this, and it's become such a part of their life that he couldn't live his life without Harry. I don't know.
But also, at the same token, I don't really get why the Ghostfacers do what they do. Like, because they didn't get the everything fell to hell. Like, they're not really that famous. Like, yeah, they wrote a book, but
yeah,
it wasn't really a bestseller either.
No, I mean, I think they just do it because that's what they know. They're trying to do it to prove that they're, badass guys, but they're not. I mean, they're totally not. I don't know. I have a lot of questions about the Ghostfacers, and I don't know. It's an interesting theory that you brought up, though, because didn't even occur to me that it could be like.
Well, it always has that underlying thing with me because of the whole Destiel thing, and that's a part of our fandom. The higher ups are very aware. Jenny Klein is ultra aware of what the fandom thinks and the going theories and stuff like that. And so, if I was like just a casual viewer, I might not have even thought that, but because I know the fandom and I know this writer, that's what sticks in my head.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I think that it's very probable. I mean, because obviously it can't happen with Dean and Cass or anything because, reasons. And so with, Harry, they could kind of push it upon us in a way that makes sense. I mean, it makes sense. It's Dean and Cass, but or Sam and Dean, either one, really, whatever. Like,
I just found it funny, like, and then also, Harry has like the Dean haircut.
I know.
I was just like, really, bro?
They're not even trying to hide it.
That's what just made me like tickle me. I almost didn't recognize him at all.
Yeah, he looked different.
Yeah.
Like, they're definitely pushing something on us.
Ed, oh my gosh, yeah. He plays AJ Buckley. He plays this dude over on Justified.
Yep.
And he looks completely different there too. So I'm just like, what?
I love AJ Buckley. I have loved him for so long. He was in CSI New York, and I used to watch that show religiously, and he was on it, and he was one of my favorite characters, and I've always had this love for AJ Buckley that I've never really understood. And so the fact that he was in Supernatural, I was like, oh my god, like, this is real. Like, I love AJ Buckley.
Yeah, I think that he's a chameleon, and like, I don't know, I feel like it does a disservice to him as an actor, almost, the stuff that, you know, the Ghostfacers are forced to, like, you know, participate in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also another little kind of like taint on the Ghostfacers for me, because I do too love AJ Buckley, and I think he's killing it on Justified. If you don't watch Justified, you can just jump in season 5. He's a part of the Crow family. Just go pitch that, because Justified needs more rabbit fans to live tweet.
I don't watch Justified, actually, so maybe I'll hop on that train, because like I said, I love AJ Buckley. I tend to watch things for the actors that are in them. Like, I started Arrow because I knew Colton Haynes was on it.
Oh, you're so cute. No, I'm notorious. I mean, I only started watching Supernatural because it was Jared Padalecki, and I've been obsessed with Jared Padalecki since Gilmore Girls.
I was about to say Gilmore Girls. Did it do it for you?
Yeah. But for Jensen, his hallmark is Dark Angel. So.
Yep.
Smallville did him a big disservice in my eyeballs.
I never watched Smallville, so.
All you have to do is watch season 4. He's in a ton of it. But I will say he has chemistry like no other with Michael Rosenbaum. And I can't wait for Jensen and him to actually find some project to do together, because they're still friends. Fun fact.
Love it.
Yes, I'm full of fun facts today. So yeah, I think that we had a lot of good stuff to talk about, but the bad stuff almost outweighs the good stuff for me. And it's just the writing, not necessarily like the intention of the writer, not necessarily the words taken at face value on the screen.
Yeah.
So let's just jump right in with some lines and some moments.
Let's do it. Pretty much my favorite lines. I mean, I'm a sucker for all things pun. I just love puns. Like, if you want me to like you, pun me, because I will love you forever. So my favorite line of this episode is when they're in the diner and Sam and Dean walk away and Harry goes, 50 shades of way too much protein. And I died. I was laughing so hard. Because it was so just like slight. And if you hadn't really been paying attention, you wouldn't have picked it up. Oh my god. It was so funny. That was my favorite line.
I totally got that. And I felt like, they were kind of, you remember, in Time After Time where their granddad keeps calling him, he is like a ape or whatever, like just basically a big douche, uncultured swine, basically.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's what it reminded me of, because you know, whey protein, bodybuilders and all that stuff.
Yep,
so.
Yep. It was so funny. It was just like so many references and then a pun on top of it, and I was just like, oh my god. Like, how could they have done that any better? Like, really, that was my favorite part of the episode. So I loved it. It was so good.
I love the part where Ed's like, you're just a Mimi, because, well, if this has to do with what Orson Cho tweeted, he's like, it just feels right when you say Mimi, and I'm like, no, it's a meme, and it's pronounced GIF. Like, I'm very snooty to people who don't pronounce internet stuff right.
So the Mimi part was hilarious. It was such a little, like a poke. It was like, oh, Mimi. Like, it was so good. I know.
No, and then Stephen Amell, like, he had to act, like, because he's starting to take his Facebook game way too seriously, and he's like, wait, is it meme or is it Mimi? And that also made me think of that, and I just started laughing.
Yep. Oh, I love when they play on pop culture. I just love that.
I hate when they do it too much, and they did do it too much this episode.
They did it too much, but I don't know. It was funny. And my other favorite line was when Harry says, Harry had my favorite lines. in this episode. Like, and that's weird because I like Ed more, but like Harry had my favorite lines. When he goes, say hola to my little pistola, I laughed so hard.
And like Dean's reaction, that whole the diner scene was great. He was like, you and your little lady pistol.
Yep. Am I supposed to be impressed with that treasure trail or the lady gun you got hiding in your pants?
Oh gosh. That's
my favorite scene for sure. That's it.
I also like Sam's question because I often find when I'm on YouTube about 15 videos deep talking about the Illuminati, I also wonder this too. When did viral go from that baby chimp falling out of a tree to killer candid camera?
It's so good.
Oh gosh, yes. Or here it is. Harry and Ed. Quit raining on my rainbow. Yes. Ed, rainbows can't happen without rain. Harry, don't try to use science with me.
And then my other favorite is like when Ed goes, the lore says that Thinman hangs out by trees, and the woods is where trees hang out. Like,
how are they not dead? Sophia, how are they not dead yet?
How are they not dead? The question everyone was asking, because let's be real. Oh my god. Oh, I could quote this episode for life. Like, it's so funny.
It is so highly quotable.
It was. And then I'll just say one more because it was like my last favorite one is like when Ed and Harry are in her bedroom and he's coming out of the closet and he goes, the bedroom of a teenage girl is meant for two things, giggles and joy, until one night Thinman turned the giggles into blood. And Harry's like, you're on fire.
When the mom okay, let's just jump in to see when the mom walks in after she heard what they said and she has the women.
I mean, it was hilarious, and this is the kind of humor that Supernatural used to have, and it wasn't in every episode, and it was just kind of like once in a while, and that's why it was so funny, and like that's why I'm glad. Like, it was funny. Oh man, this episode had me laughing pretty hard.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if this was your favorite scene, but this was my favorite scene. And then the question that Sam asked, and then Dean replies, you know what video would have gone viral if we still had it? It was when you were 5 and you just got dressed up as Batman and you jumped off the shed because you thought you could fly.
Yep. That was beautiful.
Oh, I love that scene. And then Sam finally begrudgingly agrees. Sam was being a little snot this episode. I will admit it. As the resident Sam girl, I will admit it.
Yeah. I will say it too. And I'm not a resident Sam girl. He was, but that was a really well done scene. And I think that was meant to be the plot progression between the two of them, right? Like, and we're starting to see that Sam is starting to somehow work towards being cordial with Dean again, which is, that's all we can ask for. That's all we can ask for.
I was kind of bummed that Sam was dressed up as Batman and Dean was Superman, though, because, the Dean, I am Batman. Yeah,
I know. I definitely think that Dean should have. But for the purpose of,
Yeah, because Batman can't fly. He can glide.
He can glide. Yeah, no, I agree, though. That was kind of a bummer, because Dean's I am Batman line is iconic.
Well, it's also a fun fact, as the resident DC nerd on the podcast as well, is that Jensen Ackles actually did some voice work in Under the Red Hood.
Yes, he did.
Which is a Batman property.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm full of fun facts like that.
I appreciate it.
So yeah, that was by far my favorite scene of the episode. Yeah. What about you?
I would say, okay, I had to think this through. I think my favorite scene, in terms of, hilarity, definitely the diner scene. It was just good to see the four of them, interact with each other again, because it's been so long since we've seen the Ghostfacers, and to see Sam and Dean kind of be in a lighthearted situation was really nice. And then I also agree, though, that the story between Sam and Dean, and when they had that little, awkward kind of laugh at the end, and then they're like, oh, we're in a fight, wait, we shouldn't be laughing with each other. I loved that scene. So those two scenes definitely were my favorites.
Yeah. I also had another one. It's where, it's the start of the scene that is my favorite, where Sam's talking to, he's talking to him, and he's like, yeah, trust me here, secrets ruin relationships, and they're getting ready to have this talk or whatever, and then in comes, I was like, is Sam finally gonna Dean, you couldn't wait 2 more minutes.
I know. That was, oh God, it was just such a blow. I was like, oh, Sam, you had to say it.
Yeah, I mean, duh, we got it. But yeah. I was happy that he got some interaction with some guest characters.
Me too.
Oh, I also like the scene where they're basically doing a live action Scooby-Doo movie where they pull the mask off the dude.
I know. When what is it? Ed says, what does he say? It's Scooby-Doo time, douchebag. Time to take off the mask.
Yes.
So good. Yeah.
Yep. But I will say that another good thing about this episode is that they were just people. We haven't seen that in a long time. I think episode 4, Love and Family Remains, is the last time. And then, of course, because that is a repeat on The Benders, which is 115.
Yep.
So I was glad that it was a different twist. You know what I mean?
Me too. They don't do it often, and I'm appreciative of that because this is a show that deals with the supernatural, but sometimes Dean's right. Humans can be really messed up people.
Humans, man. Well, yeah, people are sick.
Humans are messed up. People can be really messed up, and so I'm really glad that they did it, and especially in this episode because there's a lot to deal with. And so if it had just been a monster, it wouldn't have all the funniness in the episode would have been parallel to the drama.
Yeah.
And because it was human, the drama paralleled the hilarity, and it worked and it evened out.
I found it kind of interesting that Sam was the one to think that it was an actual monster and Dean was skeptical.
Yeah.
Because it was Dean's hunt. He found it.
Dean found it, yep. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm really glad that they did it in this episode. I wouldn't have been as fulfilled if they hadn't made it. If they had just made it like a tulpa or something else.
The deputy. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
He goes, no, what did he say? He's like, I'm the something, Roger's the psycho? What was it?
I don't know.
I forget whatever it was, but he was just like, oh no, yeah, he just says whatever, oh no, I'm not. He's just the psycho. I'm just taking advantage or whatever.
He's like, what does he say? Right, he's the psycho, I'm the blank. Oh, I'm trying to remember. I don't know. I'm trying to remember what he says.
Yeah, I didn't take notes. Whoops-a-doodly.
No, I didn't either.
Okay, I'm trying to count up all the references that we have in this episode, and there were a lot.
So many references. I don't even... Good luck with that. That's what I'll say, because there were a lot.
I mean, we even had Jenga as a pop culture reference, for goodness sakes.
Yep, exactly. It was heavy with the parallels and the culture references, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, some of them, like I said, I totally loved, but the other ones, nah. Like, the Menudo one was really like, really, bro? I know Sam's hair is long, but it's not as long as it used to be. He cut it a while back, dude. I miss it.
His hair is very luscious.
I'm so jealous. Like, he doesn't even own a brush or a comb. Like, I'm just, damn you, Jared. Damn you.
Damn you, Jared, and your nice hair.
Oh, yeah. The music. Besides the theme song, we had This House is a Hotel by The Wind and the Weight plus the Wave. Because it's a plus sign and not an and. I'm not a hipster, so I don't know. That was what was playing in the girl's bedroom before she's killed, and I was just like, okay, this is interesting. I like the cold open. Like, I was like, are they actually, like, I was really surprised. Like I said, I wanted them to do the Slenderman episodes. I was like, oh, we're going there, bitches! And it was creepy, and I was just like, and then it got kind of lame. Like, I felt bad for Casey's death because she just said no to a creepy dude. Like, really? I say no to creepy dudes all the time. I need to make sure my windows are locked now.
Right, exactly. Like, no, it was creepy, but it was sucky. It was shitty. Like, I felt bad for her. I was like, dang.
No, but it started off creepy, right?
It did. It really. I was like, whoa, and then he was creepy. Like, the mask was really creepy.
I know. I love that. I want that mask.
I don't. I'm good.
I want the supernatural cosplay I do. I'm gonna go as Thinman.
Really?
Yes. I'm so sick of my doggone Castiel trench coat. Plus, I have to get a new Castiel trench coat because he has a new one. It's quite expensive.
Yeah. That's why I don't do cosplay. I just hang out.
would just hang out. I haven't done Supernatural cosplay in a while. My Bobby Singer one is dusty because it brings too many tears.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think that might be a hot trend at the next set of conventions, though. We'll see.
Yeah. No, it definitely, it's easy enough.
Yep.
That's why.
So, some of the bad stuff, like I said, it's not necessarily what was on screen. It was the intention of the writer and how she went about it.
Yeah. I mean, it was very heavy on the parallels. Like, I get it. I got it the first time they mentioned that Ed and Harry were having some marital issues, and then they just kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it more. Like, I don't know. It was a lot.
I just basically have 4 main things to talk about. And I know you love the Ghostfacers, but seriously, in all seriousness, why are they even back?
I mean, they were used as a plot device. That's really the only reason they were brought back.
And you know how I feel about that.
I do know how you feel about that. They were used, like, the reasoning behind their use as a plot device was blatant. Like, they had to go their separate ways as a way of illustrating what will happen to Sam and Dean if they don't patch things up.
Okay, but the thing about this is that everybody keeps saying they're parallels. These 2 stories are actually not parallel. It tried to be, but Ed tricked him out of a life with a woman. Like it goes back to what I was saying last episode on the podcast. It's Dean tricked Sam into possession by an angel, something that is just disgusting. It's a complete, utter violation of everything that Sam stands for.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it was definitely, yeah. It was an interesting way to parallel it. That's what else. Try to think of what else.
I can go. But what we've been saying this the whole time, though, is that it was just too heavy-handed. Like, the Supernatural audience, even the casual viewer, I will venture to say, is not unintelligent by a long shot. It's complicated and deep stories, even if you watch it on just a base level. And so, you don't need to do this.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to get my phone charger, because my phone is dying.
Oh, thank God you reminded me. Let me check on mine. Okay, we're good on my side, yes. Okay,
there we go. Quick pause, gotta plug our phone in, then we're good. I'm trying to remember. Okay, so here's my thing, is like, Sam, okay, I'm trying to find, because I wrote this down somewhere, and I'm just trying to find where I wrote it, so that way I can say it and not mess up anything. So, I feel like, okay, yes, this episode was heavy on the parallels, and I definitely agree that Harry and Ed's, I mean, it's not as heavy as what Sam and Dean are going through. Obviously, it can't be. You know, it's gotta be a dumbed down version of what they're going through. Because that's what happens. Like, but I think, the basis of trust that Sam and Dean have is totally fractured, right? And it's a real life issue that a lot of people go through, and so I think it's just a variation of that. I'm trying to think of how I can say this without making it not make any sense. Okay. Keep talking, so I have to think about this for a second.
Okay, I'll bring up this one point. Most of the scenes where Harry and Ed talk, Sam aren't there to actually listen, and you know, so they were preaching to the audience, but we already know this. It's been our biggest complaint, the things that they're going through, and that is trying to reflect on the brother relationship. And now, I just want to say that the problem that I've had since Jeremy Carver showed up is that he said he was all about making the boys more mature and less codependent, and in the end, that would strengthen the brother bond. But what we've got is even more codependency and less of the brother bond that, well, for the most part, most of the fans really love.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's totally fair, and it's interesting, because you're right, you know, the audience gets to watch Harry and Ed fight, and Harry and Ed go their separate ways. I mean, and Sam and Dean get to watch Harry and Ed finally, you know, go their separate ways, but at the same time, they didn't see the big argument between them, and I think that's a really important thing to note, because it's like, well, then what was the point? Because the audience understands what's going on. We do. We get it. We know why Sam and Dean, or most of us do, I would say. Some people don't like it at all, and some people can't understand that the Sam and Dean need to go through this in order to have a stronger relationship. But I think it's interesting that you pointed out. But you're right. Sam and Dean didn't get to see it, so who benefits?
Yeah. Another thing is that I want to say at the beginning of the episode, where Dean is going off on a case by himself, and, Sam is like, oh, you're not going to let me take along. Like, it's confusing because the writers have left a lot of things very ambiguous, especially this line, because as usual, they don't let Sam finish his thought or Dean really reply in full. It's when he says, if you want to work, let's work. But if you want to be brothers, and then we don't get anything, and Dean doesn't respond.
What did he mean? I know. I was like, okay, what? Like, what? If you want to be brothers, what? Dean needs to know. Like, maybe they just had one of their brother moments and, like, it was telepathic. But hey, guess what? The audience isn't.
Yeah, exactly. And it also goes back to when Sam talks about, if you think that's what's wrong with our relationship, it's not. And then Dean drives off into the sunset. Like, can we get a complete thought this season, please?
Right. It's like, what is Sam really upset about? What's the basis? Is it the violation of his person?
I think it's a culmination of everything that him and Dean have been through, and right. Things that Dean, blames him for that, first of all, nobody thought that, Dean should be blaming Sam for, and initially, before Jeremy Carver came along, he didn't blame him for, and, it goes back to that, speech at the end of season 8, and, while Dean's side of the speech was powerful, I still kind of didn't believe it because of the way that the writers had set this whole thing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really ready to see them start to work through their issues. I'm ready for it. And I don't know when we're going to see that because they keep putting things in the way. And what we need, you're right, we need an Impala chat where they finally come to terms with what's going on. And why pinpoint why, like, I get it. Sam thinks that Dean saved him because he didn't want to be alone. And that's totally legitimate. Dean has a fear of being alone. But Dean should be able to explain exactly why, and Sam should be able to explain exactly, why he's angry too. But there's no communication going on.
Okay, so that brings me to another point. Like, okay, nobody loved the idea of the bunker and the boys having a home when the Men of Bunkers was introduced. The Men of Letters bunker was introduced. I was like, finally, we can lay down some roots. But the bunker is the problem. The Impala forced them to be on the road together and to either stare out the window blankly for thousands of miles and not talk, or hash through their crap. The bunker, it's too much space. They don't have to talk to each other. The place doesn't belong to Sam or Dean more. Like, the Impala, this is why Sam was always leaving, is because the Impala is, yes, it's both their homes, but at the end of the day, it's more Dean's place.
Right.
So, and the bunker is both equally theirs and huge. Like, they could go days without seeing each other as big as they're making the bunker.
I'm sure they do, because we don't actually know how much time has taken place between each episode at this point. It's kind of just, we're kind of left to guess. And I'm sure they go days without being like, oh, let's talk. In the Impala, you're right. They were forced to. They went on hunts, and they were forced to spend every waking minute together. And they noticed, like, how one was acting. But you're right. With the bunker, it's totally different. There's no reason for them to be like, hey, let's work things out.
Yep. So yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like, at this point now, like, as much as I love the beautiful set that is the Men of Letters bunker, it's time to blow that sucker up and get back out on the road and baby.
Let's see baby again. Let's have some.
Yeah, she hasn't been getting prominently featured, and like, she's the third Winchester. I'm sorry.
I agree. Baby is a character. Like, Baby is truly a character, and we haven't been seeing enough of her, and it's ridiculous. We should really be seeing more. Yeah. Because you're right, that's where they worked out all of their issues, and we need to see that.
Yeah, like I said, like, I totally, like, I'm glad for the people that love the Ghostbusters that they came back, that they're not dead. They did give humor to the situation. It made the episode absolutely quotable and notable, but at the same token, sometimes it's a little too much.
Yeah. I mean, my reasoning behind it was so that Sam and Dean could start to kind of, they could see what would happen, and the fact that they're in this argument, like, okay, my brain is farting really hard today.
It's okay.
So I have to take time and actually think about what I'm going to say instead of just word vomiting everywhere and then say something I don't mean. it's this basis of trust, right? And that's what Supernatural is based on as a whole. It's like this relationship between the two brothers. They kind of go back and forth, and they've stabbed each other in the back once in a while. But this is the real deal. Like, Sam isn't just accepting it. His trust has been fractured completely, and I think the reason the ghost faces were there was so Sam and Dean could see what would happen if they don't, because Harry's trust was fractured by the person that he trusted most. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the parallel that really I think that Jenny was really trying to get across.
Okay, let me ask you this, though. If you're in a relationship with somebody who wants to change you, like the fundamental parts of you, because being a ghost facer, for all intents and purposes, is an essential part of his personality. True or false?
Yeah.
So is that technically really a healthy relationship that somebody wants to change? Like, they knew who you were when they met you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there's more to that girlfriend situation than we're allowed to know. But like I said, like, if somebody tried to change me, like that fundamental part of me, I don't know. And my friends saw that, maybe they would kind of sabotage it. I would be pissed, sure, but I would probably get over it when I sat down and thought about it. Like, yeah, I shouldn't have to change for that person. When you really love somebody, you guys just take each other's flaws and you work around them, or you come to love them and understand them and get it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. And I think that Ed was trying to protect Harry on some level. I mean, that would make sense.
But Dean did, like, Sam, I don't know. It's weird because, like, that's just the ultimate betrayal, and I just don't see any upside of it, of Sam ever really seeing it any other way, whereas in the Ghostfacer situation, you can see it another way.
Right, exactly. But, and I think that's the most glaring, like, plot hole is, I don't know, I think the parallel was definitely on the brotherly trust thing. That's what I think they tried to focus on. And I think that they did that well, but you're right. I mean, I don't see Sam apologizing. If Sam apologizes, I'm gonna be like, if he apologizes more than Dean does, I'm gonna be angry.
Well, Dean Sam really needs to apologize for what he said to Dean.
Right? No, and he does, but Dean messed up fundamentally. Like, he broke Sam's trust in a way that really can't be bandaged, and he needs to understand that.
Yes. That's the crux of the point of the relationship that we're at, and it seems like we're not gonna ever get past. I feel like we're drowning here, and we're miles from shore. There's no Coast Guard, there's no buoy, there's no lifesaver.
There's nothing. There's no help on the way.
Our legs are cramping. We're dehydrated. It's high noon. It's a bad situation.
Surrounded by sharks. Like, it's not good. It's not looking good. The outcome is looking pretty bleak at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, even in season 4 and 5, I can always see the light at the end of the tunnel. Well, in season 8, like, they kept promising, like, oh, the trials is going to be this thing. We're going to shut the gates of hell. Oh. Never mind. We just have heaven all messed up, but hell's open for business.
Hell's fine. Hell's just fine.
I don't see the end of the light at the tunnel, unless it's Hellfire, that is, for season 9.
I was about to say, maybe it's a train.
It's a train. I have a feeling that this season's finale is gonna gut me like a pig, like nobody's business. And I don't know where they're gonna go from there. I mean, we're at episode 16 when we come back. Right? Yeah. So that's 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. That's 7 episodes to deal with the Mark of Cain, to deal with the angels, because God, don't let the angels be in season 10.
Oh my God.
Or take it to the spinoff.
Right, exactly. We're done with angels, and in Supernatural, we're done. Like, I'm just done. I'm really, like, we don't need them anymore. I said it once, I'll say it again. They're reaching to find an angel storyline.
We haven't even seen Metatron. Like, we hear his name, but we haven't seen him. Like, how, like, I hate that he kills Kevin and closes the profit loophole. Like, what? Like, you just have the answer for everything? Really? Right. That's lazy.
Just because you got the word of God, whatever. Like, who cares? We need more. I need a storyline for Metatron. If he's the big bad, well, number one, who is the big bad at this point? I mean, that's the, like, is it Abaddon? Is it Metatron? Like, is it Crowley? Who knows?
Is it the Rogue Angels? Like, okay, so yeah, we have way too much bad guy action and not enough good guy action.
and not a strong enough bad guy. Every single bad guy in this show has been corrupted somehow by Sam and Dean. Like, like every bad guy has been like, oh, I kind of like you guys in a weird way. Like, and that's really, I want a bad guy who doesn't have a conscience. Like, that's all I want in this show. And I feel like that could be Metatron, but at the same time, I don't know. Like, it's just frustrating.
Yeah, the whole Metatron thing, he needs to, maybe if, like, he just needs to die. And that needs to be the key to opening up heaven again. Like, how do the angels even plan on fixing heaven if there's even any angels left at this point? They're all killing each other.
They're dying left and right at this, like, angels are not...
They're not smart. They're not smart at all. They're supposed to be soldiers and have, like, tactical prowess, but they just all look stupid.
Yep, I agree. There's no point to angels.
Let them kill each other. Let them kill, all of them kill each other, and then just Cass is left, and
let's not focus on it. Let's just have it going on in the background.
Like, let's just go to the bunker at the table where all the little angel sightings happened at the beginning of the season, and there's no more flashing lights except for Cass. And then
That's it.
That's it.
That's perfect. I would love that. Give that to me.
That's my biggest thing. But, like, again, this week we didn't, like, I hate when they just ignore the fact that, like, you made Misha a series regular, and you're not even going to acknowledge when the character's not around.
No, it's ridiculous. Yeah, there was a sore lack of Misha in this episode, and there was no reason for it. If he's a series regular, he should be in every episode.
Well, not every episode, but
like most of them.
Yes. But, like, that's what they do, though. Like, they'll be like, oh, let's try Cass and Misha out. The fans are complaining, okay, it's been 3 episodes, let's trot them out again. And I just feel like it's such a disservice to his storyline. Like, that's why we don't feel attached to the storyline.
Right, he's like a show horse.
He is.
He's like
he's a pony.
Yeah, he is. People care about seeing him, but they're not giving him enough time to have us care about the storyline, so we don't. I don't know. It's just, it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating because, like I said, I love Cass, and I want Cass to have a story, but I love Cass with Sam and Dean.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so this is the thing that I kind of wanted to talk about last episode, but I saved it for this one. Is Team Free Will, can we really truly call Team Free Will? Like, free will, like, they all have had their agency compromised.
Yep.
And, yeah.
For them.
Yeah, Dean has had it, Cass has had it, the worst of the lot, and then Sam's the second runner-up on that.
Yep. Dean's kind of holding out, but not really.
See, Dean has never really truly had free agency, and they keep trying to retcon this. Like, John Winchester basically brainwashed his oldest son to do his job so that he could get revenge for his wife, not thinking that that's not what their mother would have wanted for them. Whether she was a hunter or not, nobody would want that life for their children.
Right, she says that. And she says it to Dean. She says it to Dean. She's like, I would never raise my children this way. And it's like, oh my God, look, Dean, he has literally been brainwashed. He's been brainwashed by the man, by his father, who he thinks is just like the best person ever. And
or he did. What? And I'm glad to see that that's going away. But at the same time, I don't like retcons of any kind. Like, yes, John Winchester was a douchebag, but I don't think that he was mentally is just as bad as physical. But I'm just saying, I don't think that, I mean, maybe he got a spanking once in a while. I don't care how you parents are. I don't think anything's wrong with a spanking here and there. But maybe he got that. But I don't think that he was a drunk, abusive alcoholic who did bad by his family. But that obsession consumed him.
Right, like, and my question is, like, we're never gonna learn about what the type of father John Winchester actually was. They just kind of allude to the fact that he may have beat Dean. He may have. We don't know. We take what we can from that. Some people are like, oh, he full on, like, he was an abusive dad. Some people are like you, and they're like, oh, you might have just, like...
But he was emotionally abusive, no doubt, and that's just in and of itself awful. But so that negates Dean's free will, and we see him try to shake it. But at the end of the day, it's so deeply ingrained in his soul that I don't think he will ever truly be able to shake it. Like, they tried to deconstruct Dean. They got rid of the jacket and the necklace that was meant for John that Sam gave because, you know, John didn't show up for Christmas. And, you know, they took away the Impala for a while and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, Dean is still, like, why is he even still fighting the good, quote-unquote, good fight? What is in it for Dean? What?
There's nothing. This is just what he knows. It's what he knows. And that's it.
And that in and of itself is really sad. Like, he doesn't see the options for himself. Like, we got into it, but then it got washed over back at the tail end of season 8. And then Cass, he just gets led around by the nose from villain to villain to villain to villain. And the buck has to stop somewhere.
Yep.
And Sam, I mean, you know, he's had demon blood in him since he was 6 months old. And did the trials purify him? Did Gadriel purify him? Does he still have the demon blood in him? Like, what's going on?
We don't know, because we'll never know. I don't know. I do want to know the actual outcome of what happened to Sam because of Gadriel. Because, like, obviously Gadriel was healing him.
And he had a little bit of his soul, his grace left in him.
Right, and is there still some in him? He's still got some angel grace in him. So the angel grace and the demon blood. We don't. What
are they fighting, or are they making a baby, or are they making the next little Jesse? Like, what's going on here?
Right, exactly. Is he gonna be? I don't even know. Like, what is Sam now? Is Sam even does he have?
Is Sam even human anymore?
Human? Like, we don't know. I don't. And are they going to mention it, or are they just expecting us to just be okay with it? Because, you know, who cares? Like, I don't know. Especially, I would love to see that. That would be such an interesting storyline. But at the same time, I'm also really interested in the Mark of Cain storyline.
Yes. Now, fill me with your tales of theories and predictions on this Mark of Cain situation.
Okay. Essentially, what I think is going to I think, and this is one of my theories, and I'm not a theory person at all. Like, I just kind of watch it, and I like reading theories, but I don't ever come up with them. And if I do, they're completely wrong. Like, I had a theory for Lydia on Teen Wolf, and it was just totally wrong. But I think it's either taking his humanity or it's taking his soul. And it's got to be one of the two. And I don't know how, and I don't know why, but because killing demons is something that Dean has done, so there's got to be something that it's doing. Because he's killing a lot more. I feel like we watched Dean kill one of the humans, right?
Yep.
In this episode, we watched him just kill him in cold blood without even blinking. Then we watched Harry do the same thing. But I think what we really should have focused on was Dean, because I don't know, but it's complicated because Dean has always been the one that's but let's just shoot first, ask questions later.
But he's been going away from that, and I do think that the reversion is there for a reason. So I do like this train of thought that you're on.
I mean, and this is a totally new theory. Like, I don't even know, like I said, I'm not a theory person, but I really do think it's doing something to his soul, or it's doing something to his humanity. Because we talked about it in the last podcast, how Dean isn't the same.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is something going on with him, and we're supposed to be noticing it.
I do, and I definitely think that was the reason for another parallel of having Harry kill one of the people too, because he is extra messed up about it, and the other dude just wants to sweep it under the rug, but he's like, no, we killed a dude, you know?
Right. He's like, we killed someone, and I think that Dean needs to kind of make that connection too.
Yeah.
There was a reason that they had Harry kill someone as well.
Definitely. That was the final wedge between them, though, for sure.
Oh, definitely.
I do like that he just gets in the car with him. He's like, can I get a ride?
And they're like, you okay? He's like, I will be. Yeah, I know. I like that too. They're like, well, now we got to deal with this guy.
I know. And I know Dean hates having people in the backseat of the Impala too.
He does. I want that car ride.
I know. That needs to be a DVD extra for sure.
Let's just see that car ride, please. But yeah, that's my theory. I don't know if it's not fully fledged. Maybe next week I'll have it more and more. But yeah, that's just I had a thought while I was walking home. I was like, wait a minute, what could this mean?
Wait a minute, you walked home?
Right. Oh man. So yeah, that's I don't know, and we can roll with that. I mean, if you like it, great.
Yeah, I like that. I have been seeing this weird shift in Dean. It's noticeable, and I always just figure anytime something happens that is out of character, I just chalk it up to the writers not giving a crap. So I hope that's not what this turns into.
Me too.
2 episodes later, he's totally fine. He's back to shoving pie in his face and doing guitar solos on his bed.
Yep. No, I definitely think it's there for a reason. There's gotta be. Killing without consequence is something that Dean, has to think about.
Well, maybe it's a complete reversion back to season 1, where he just, he wants to be this lone, or even fresh from purgatory, maybe. I don't know. But he has to get to the point where he was, if they're going to truly go with the inverse, like, there's all these little crumbs for it, then Dean has to have that reason to have lost everything and not care and just be this lone wolf that's willing to sacrifice any and everything as long as it gets the job done.
Yep. Oh, man. I mean, so I definitely think it's going to be an important thing, and I think we definitely have to keep an eye out on Dean's actions, the subtle ones and the major ones. Like, he's changing. There's no denying it. They're putting it in. It's subtle, and it could just be the fact that he was listening to his music and not singing to it, And we haven't seen him make food in a while. And when they were first in the bunker, he made dinner,
All the time, yeah.
Right, so there's definitely something going on with Dean, and it's just a question of what is it? Does it have to do with the mark of Cain? Does it have to do with this argument with Sam? Like, what is it?
It might be a culmination of both, but I think the most important thing to remember about the mark of Cain is that Cain gave Dean the mark with a string attached, and how that string plays into the rest of the season, in the series, probably.
Right.
Like, he has to come when Cain calls him.
And has to kill Cain, right.
So maybe Cain, as an ultimate FU, to the whole supernatural balance of things, he puts Dean in a very precarious situation.
Yep.
And that's what I think they're actually going to go full Monty with the destruction of the brother relationship, and I think that's going to play a big role in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. I'm nervous, because you're right when you said, I think that this season finale is just going to, oh man, it's going to be a lot. It has to be. The way they've been building up this season, I don't think that the brothers are going to have to, they're not going to deal with their issues until the last episode.
And then it's not even going to be really dealt with. It's just going to be like, to be continued, ...
Right, exactly. You just be like, God damn it! I just thought I know. Yeah.
Yep. I really feel like it's going to be this, maybe, you know what I really want for the season finale is an epic battle. We haven't had an epic battle ever.
Yes.
And we got the budget and the audience, and we deserve it. So I want to see, like, because come on, let's just be real. Like, the way the apocalypse ended, like, if this is the way the world ends, it definitely ended in a whimper.
Yep. I totally agree. I would love to see an all-out, just, like, battle.
That way we have Cass. We know we'll have Cass.
Right, exactly. I would love to see it, like, Heaven and Hell would have been cool, but now, who knows?
It's so bland and, like, it's like another day at the office with Heaven and Hell, and that's unfortunate. Hell used to be a scary place.
Yeah,
Heaven used to be...
I'm not afraid of hell.
Like, yeah, sure, I'll sell my soul. No big. I'll just stand in the line for the rest of eternity.
Right. I mean, it was a cool thought, but at the same time, I want more.
Nobody's getting tortured. There's no more Alice. Like, what did he do with, like, all the Lucifer loyalists? Like Meg was, like, the last one, supposedly. So now we have Abaddon, who, she's not really a Lucifer loyalist, but she just doesn't agree that some crossroads demon that thinks too much of himself is running hell now. That's what that's about.
And that's fair. That's a legitimate thing to think. Like, I agree. Hell should be this insane, messed up place that no one wants to go. Standing in line for eternity? I mean, come on. Like, that doesn't sound so bad.
Yeah, I need my brimstone and fire with hell. Sorry.
Jeez, I want to see the rack. I want to see, what Dean went through. Like, that was so cool. We got to see Dean on the rack, man. That was really cool. I loved that. The end of season 3 when we... Yeah, that was great.
That's one of the most heartbreaking things ever. First of all, like, nobody takes risks with their show like that anymore. Like, come on, like, I really, like, because I had just gotten into Supernatural at the halfway point of season 3, and we were coming back from the strike, and we were already a few episodes short, and I'm like, they're really going to see Dean to hell, and they did, and I was like,
oh. They took that chance, and it was great. It turned out so great. Like, and I want to see that again.
Yeah, I want to see them take a really huge risk. Even if they destroy the brother, I say destroying the brother bond is the biggest risk that they can take. And if it wasn't Jeremy Carver, I would say go for it. But he's done so much damage to the brother relationship that I don't have any faith in him to fix it, especially this group of writers that he has under his belt. So, like, while that's the biggest, riskiest thing that could happen, and we spend season 10 putting the brother bond back together again, I just don't trust it.
No, I don't either, but it would be so amazing.
It would. Like, I say take risks. Do it.
Yep, I agree. No, I want to see it. Let's destroy it. Let's destroy everything we've watched. Just destroy it all, and let's see him build it up.
Because they already kind of started on it. Like, let's just be real. With season 8, Sam not looking for Dean, that was the beginning of the end.
It was. We knew it was going to happen. We knew it was coming. And now, what?
They can't backtrack. Like, they literally can't. They need to go full Monty with this. I'm terrified to see it. But it will give the boys a different approach to interact with each other that I want to see.
Emotional well-being may not be ready, but I'm willing to put it through turmoil.
That's all Supernatural is. It's just one emotional turmoil after the next.
It is. I know. I would love to see it. Come on, writers, give it to us. We can handle it.
Yeah. I think that, but no, this is the weird thing about this episode is that I do think that this is the thaw in the frozen relationship that Sam and Dean have, is that they're smiling and we're seeing glimpses of the old brother's back. And, Dean was snarky and sarcastic, delicious goodness, and that's always nice to see. But I almost feel jilted because we've been going through this for so long. It's kind of like when Dean killed Amy. Like we were having that hanging over our heads, and then finally it just was like, okay, one conversation. Like Sam spent like 2 episodes apart or whatever it was, and they had one conversation and they were back to being brothers. And I feel like that's the way they're going. Like, I don't feel that they feel safe enough to do that.
Yep. No, it was totally swept under the rug, So, I don't know. I would love to see it. I would love to see, like, a real, total brother just demolished, the brother relationship demolished and brought back up. Built up again.
Only if Kripke comes back. Like, if Kripke came back for season 10, I promise, like Santa, I will be such a good girl this year.
I'm with you. Like, please just bring Kripke back. He knew what he was doing. He just knew, because he created...
He did put a rift in the brothers, and he did fix it.
Yep, he did. I just want it. Let's do it. Give it to us.
I just want Kripke back. Like that. Like, let's just lure him back. Like, I promise you, we could do it Indiegogo. Like, how much money do you want, Eric Kripke? We will totally fundraise.
Kickstarter can do it.
Oh gosh, yeah. But yeah, so what did you end up giving this as a grade?
Originally I rated it higher than the last episode, but after really thinking about it, I think I gotta give it a C. Because honestly, it just didn't... I didn't know what I wanted from the episode, but I don't think I got what I wanted from the episode.
You didn't know what you wanted, but you're doggone sure you didn't get it.
Right, exactly. So I feel like I'm frustrated now because I don't know what they want us to think. Are we supposed to think that the brother relationship is becoming less, they're starting to put it back together and they're picking up the pieces, or is it getting more and more fractured? Like, and I don't know what we're supposed to be seeing. So, yeah, I have to say it's gotta be a C. That's my that's my rating. Because I'm frustrated at this point.
I gave it a C+, which is a pretty high grade for a Ghostfacer episode. I will just throw that out there. I like the comedy of the episode. I felt that it was a little overdone, sure, but I think it was really needed, and I like what Jenny tried to do, is that I feel like there's a reason for her heavy-handedness. Maybe she's like, okay, we get it, we heard you, it's on its way.
Yeah, and I was gonna give it a C+, but given all that we've talked about, I was like, yeah.
See, I can still appreciate what a writer tries to do. Sometimes it looks better on paper. As a writer, sometimes I know, like, when I read something out loud, I'm like, yeah, this needs to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah. I mean, I loved the Ghostfacers, and I was glad to see them again, even if they broke up. But and I liked that, but it was almost too heavy on the parallels, and it just made me more and more confused, and I just can't. It's very frustrating because I don't know, and sometimes I like not knowing what's happening. In fact, I hate surprises, but in Supernatural, it always tends to be a good thing. But at this point, I'm just kind of like, all right. let's start to see some real story progression here. And let's see Cass.
I'm going to tell you exactly why I kind of was... the second time that I watched it, I was a little more lighthearted because I watched it as a live-action version of Scooby-Doo.
Really? Oh, okay. There you go.
I was like, this is an AU, and they got the mystery machine.
Yep. That I can. Okay, that's awesome. I can see that. See, I've only watched it once, and that would have been a good way to watch it, though.
Sam is Velma.
Yes.
Yeah, so I just have to have fun with Super. Like I said, when I started really watching Supernatural season 9 again, I said I have to not be fandom is serious business and, take it like a personal offense every time the writers do something that I don't agree with. Because they're the writers, they're getting paid to do it. So I just have to trust that they have a plan and that I'm just along for the ride until Supernatural's over.
Right. And I don't want to think about that moment.
I know. I'm going to be a mess.
I'm going to be a mess. Yes, I know. As much as I yell about Supernatural not being as good as it used to be, I would cry if it were done.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.